syncope, feeling giddiness, patient fall down on the ground with brief loss of consciousness. That is syncope. So it is transient, self-limited loss of consciousness due to actual global impairment of the cerebral blood flow. So basic pathology is decreased blood supply to your brain for a short period of time. That leads to loss of consciousness, and patient regain consciousness immediately after some period, because when patient fall down on the ground, the blood supply automatically to the brain is improved because of removal of the gravity effect. When patient is standing, because of gravity effect, the blood supply to the brain is decreased. But when patient fall down on the ground, automatically the blood supply to the brain is improved and the patient regain consciousness. So syncope having some pre-syncope symptoms, that is called as prodrome, before loss of consciousness. Some may feel dizziness, lightheadedness, sweating, faintness, nausea, feeling, vomiting, some auditory visual disturbance like that, or loss of muscle power, fatigue, feeling weakness, colds, extremities like that. So all these are called as pre-syncopal symptoms, and then followed by patient suddenly fall down on the ground and with loss of consciousness. So your cerebral perfusion is mainly maintained by cardiac output, then systemic vascular resistance, your blood pressure, intravascular volume status, autoregulation of your brain, and metabolic regulation. So these are the factors which decide your cerebral perfusion. So there are three types or three categories of syncope: neurally mediated, also called as reflux syncope or vasovagal syncope, which is benign and not life-threatening, so nothing to worry about that. Then orthostatic hypotension and cardiac syncope. So cardiac syncope is more dangerous. It is mainly because of cardiac arrhythmia or structural cardiac problem, and it can be life-threatening. So whenever patient with syncope comes to you, your aim is first to rule out cardiac syncope, because which can be life-threatening, sudden death can occur. So patient of syncope, your first aim is to rule out first cardiac problem, because rest two are benign and not life-threatening. So neurally mediated, orthostatic, and cardiac. So neurally mediated include three categories: vasovagal syncope, carotid sinus syncope, and situational syncope. When means patient is doing some activities like excessive coughing, micturition. Hello? Hello student? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
ऐकू येतंय?
हॅलो.
ऐकू
हो
येतंय
मॅम
का?
येतंय.
दिसतंय?
हो
PPT दिसते?
हो येते. हो हो हो.
So situational include when patient is doing some activities like coughing, excessive coughing after micturition, straining at defecation, swallowing, etc. Then orthostatic hypotension is mainly because of drug induced. The drugs which can cause orthostatic hypotension are mainly some antipsychotic drugs, antidepressant, then vasodilators and diuretics. These are the drugs which can cause orthostatic hypotension. Then autonomic nervous system failure. Autonomic nervous system failure can be primary and can be secondary, like seen in diabetic patient, in Parkinson patient. And then third cause of orthostatic hypotension is dehydration, decrease intravascular volume status, dehydration state because of diarrhea, because of vomiting like that, which can also cause orthostatic hypotension, which constitute 2%. Neurally mediated constitute 50% of the syncope, orthostatic constitute 2% of syncope. Then cardiac syncope includes secondary to arrhythmia and secondary to structural problem. So in arrhythmia, it can be bradyarrhythmia, can be tachyarrhythmia, which constitute 20%. Bradyarrhythmia include heart block and sick sinus syndrome. Tachyarrhythmia include ventricular tachycardia, supraventricular tachycardia, atrial fibrillation like that. Tachyarrhythmia means increased heart rate. Bradyarrhythmia means decreased heart rate. Structural problem include aortic stenosis, mitral stenosis, stenotic lesions which affect your stroke volume or decrease your cardiac output. Then cardiomyopathy, pulmonary hypertension, acute myocardial infarction. In all these conditions, there is decreased stroke volume, that decrease cardiac output, and that decrease your cerebral blood flow or blood supply to your brain, which constitute 3%. Then the last category includes cerebrovascular causes and psychiatric problems, means psychological. Syncope many times can be psychological, particularly in females. having some psychiatric problem. And cerebrovascular. Cerebrovascular include infarct of the brain tissue or ischemia of the brain tissue. That is in stroke patient. So stroke patient can complaining of syncope, transient ischemic attacks, which constitute 1%. So you have to rule out all these causes. Whether syncope is neurally mediated, whether syncope is because of orthostatic hypotension, whether it is because of arrhythmia, whether it is because of some structural cardiac problem, or whether it is because of cerebral problem. Or excluding all this, then it can be psychological problem. So neurally mediated include three: vasovagal, carotid sinus, situational. So vasovagal, which is the most common syncope which we encounter. So vasovagal neurocardiogenic syncope is mainly because of excessive vagal stimulation. Excessive vagus nerve stimulation, excessive parasympathetic stimulation. So parasympathetic stimulation causes bradycardia and hypotension, and that lead to syncope. So most common cause of syncope in young adults, young students, young females. The precipitating event can be anything like stress, trauma, severe pain, fear of anything like that. Fear of anything, fear of blood, fear of pricking, fear of needle, fear of syringe, like that. Prolonged standing, heat exposure, fear about OT, anything, fear about closed space. So all that can lead to syncope. So that is vasovagal. So that excessive fear can cause vagal stimulation, parasympathetic stimulation, which causes bradycardia and hypotension. So usually patient of vasovagal syncope are young patients. So in vasovagal syncope, there can be pre-syncope or there can be prodrome like nausea, sweating, palpitation, etc. Patient initially feel palpitation, sweating, nausea feeling, and then syncope or fall down on the ground. So in autonomic nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic system, which maintain your blood pressure. Sympathetic system, its function is to increase blood pressure, increase heart rate, cause vasoconstriction. Parasympathetic action is to decrease blood pressure, decrease heart rate, and cause vasodilatation. If the balance in sympathetic and parasympathetic is disturbed, then that can lead to syncope. That means sympathetic activity is not working properly, and there is excessive stimulation of parasympathetic system. Parasympathetic system causes decreased blood pressure, bradycardia, vasodilatation, and that is the main basic pathology behind vasovagal syndrome. So in vasovagal presentation, usually hypotension followed by bradycardia. The respiration also can be rapid and deep. Patient may have difficulty in respiration also. So in some people, pain, emotional stress that causes vagus left ventricular contraction, and that activate mechanoreceptors and that stimulate your vagus nerve, and that results in parasympathetic stimulation. So clinical features in vasovagal syncope include, these are the pre-syncope or prodrome, like dizziness, lightheadedness, fatigue, sweating, loss of muscle power, patient is pale, cold extremities, palpitations, nausea, hyperventilating, like that. So all these are the prodrome or pre-syncopal symptoms, then followed by patient fall down with loss of consciousness. So many times if the blood supply to the brain is interrupted for a extended period, if the blood supply to brain is interrupted for a extended period, then there can occur seizure activity. There can occur seizure activity like jerky movements of the limbs, jerky movements of hand and feet. So that is called as myoclonus. So many times patient may fall down with jerky movements like myoclonus and loss of consciousness. So it can be confused with epilepsy. So many times it can be confused with epilepsy. We thought that it is a seizure attack. Then in respiration, there can be grunting, snorting, stertorous breathing. That means respiratory pattern is different. Patient is in respiratory distress. This is situational syncope, means after excessive coughing, after micturition, after straining at defecation, swallowing, etc. That is situational syncope. Carotid sinus syncope is nothing but whenever there is pressure, external pressure over your carotid sinus, the baroreceptors, which are very sensitive to the external pressure, they get stimulated, and that results in bradycardia and hypotension. So carotid sinus hypersensitivity, baroreceptors are sensitive to external pressure. So anything like that, wearing a tight collar, anything which causes external pressure over the baroreceptors, over the carotid sinus. So if baroreceptors are stimulated, that results in bradycardia, hypotension and syncope. So that is carotid sinus syncope. Orthostatic hypotension is mainly because of drug induced. Second, autonomic nervous system failure. And third, decrease intravascular volume like dehydration state. So in drugs, diuretics, vasodilators, antidepressants, which can cause arterial hypertension. What is arterial hypertension? It is nothing but falling blood pressure more than 280 systolic and more than 10 diastolic after 3 minutes of standing. You have to take the blood pressure in lying down position. You have to ask the patient to stand up for 3 minutes, then take blood pressure in standing position. If there is falling blood pressure more than 20 systolic, more than 10 diastolic, that means it is orthostatic hypotension. So causes drug induced, second autonomic failure, which is seen in Parkinson and diabetic. So orthostatic hypotension is very common in diabetic patient and Parkinson patient. And third is dehydration state. Cardiac syncope, secondary to arrhythmia, secondary to structural problem. So these are the causes we already discussed. Then psychogenic. Psychogenic means anxiety, fear, emotional stress, some unwelcome news, sudden pain, sight of blood, sight of any surgery, prolonged standing, very hot, humid, crowded environment, like that. Hunger, fasting state, physical exertion or exhaustion. So all these are the factors. So these are some physiological factors or psychological factors which also can cause symptom. So these are the differential diagnosis. Means syncope can be confused with this condition or this condition can be confused with syncope. Like epilepsy, psychological problems like drop attack, cataplexy, etc. Transient ischemic attack, metabolic disorder like hypoglycemia, hypoxia, alcohol intoxication. So all these are some conditions which can be confused with syncope or it is the differential diagnosis of syncope. This vertebrobasilar transient ischemic attack means it is the decreased blood supply to brain. Basilar artery is mainly supplying the posterior part of the brain. Basilar artery mainly supplying posterior part of brain. If the blood supply to the posterior part of brain is decreased because of vertebrobasilar insufficiency, means decreased blood in vertebral artery and basilar artery, that results in decreased blood supply to posterior part of brain, and that can result in syncope. It is called vertebrobasilar insufficiency. This vertebrobasilar insufficiency is very common in cervical spondylosis. This vertebrobasal insufficiency is very common in cervical spondylosis. So many patients of cervical spondylosis complaining of giddiness. Many patients complaining of giddiness because it can compress the vertebral artery. If it compressing the vertebral artery, the decreased blood supply to the basilar artery, that results in syncope. So patient of cervical spondylosis many times complaining of giddiness on neck movement or on neck rotation. Now, how to approach a patient of syncope? Any patient will fall down in front of you with loss of consciousness. So what to do when patient fall in front of you? So first, history taking is very important in a patient of syncope. History taking, question about the circumstances before the attack. Before the attack, what is patient's position? What activity he was doing? The position of patient, like supine, whether sitting or standing. What is activity going on before syncope? Change in posture, any exercise, whether patient went for urination, defecation, whether there is excessive coughing, anything. Whether he is in crowded place, prolonged standing, fasting state, or high temperature. Whether patient is having fear about anything, intense pain, whether there are any neck rotation, neck movements, etc. So question about the circumstances before the attack that are important. Then question about the attack. Pre-syncopal symptoms, whether present or not, like chest pain, palpitation, nausea, vomiting, sweating, blurring of vision, etc. So history about prodrome, and then question about the attack. So question about the attack you have to ask to any eyewitness. If anyone seeing that patient, how the patient fall down. So you have to take history from eyewitness about the way of falling, skin color at the time of falling, duration of loss of consciousness, whether there are any jerky movement present or not, whether there is tongue biting, whether there is uprolling of eyes, what is the breathing pattern, etc. So question about the attack you have to ask to any eyewitness, and then question about the end of attack. Question about the end of attack. So history is very important before attack, during attack, after attack. Then question about the background. Question about the background means history of the patient. Whether it means it is the first attack of syncope or there is history of repeated attack of syncope. So number and duration of syncope spells, whether there are recurrent episodes, any family history, whether patient is suffering from any cardiac problem, arrhythmia, heart attack, whether patient is a known case of ischemic heart disease, mitral stenosis, aortic stenosis, etc. means history about some cardiac disease, family history, then presence, then history about some neurological disease, patient whether suffering from epilepsy, Parkinson, narcolepsy, etc. Whether patient is suffering from diabetes, whether patient is taking any medicine like antihypertensive drug, antidepressant drug, diuretics, etc. So question about the background means you have to ask the number and duration of syncopal space, means whether there is history of recurrent attacks or recurrent episodes. Then history about cardiac disease, history about cerebral disease, history about metabolic disorder, history about medication. So history is very, very important in patient of syncope. History is very, very important to find out the cause of syncope. So patient of syncope, you have to find out the basic cause of syncope and you have to treat that cause. Your aim when patient fall down is to see or examine the patient. So first to see vital parameters. Vital parameters means blood pressure, respiratory rate and pulse rate. So your basic aim is to check patient's pulse, BP, then oxygen level if patient in hospital and pattern of the respiration. So whether there is drop in blood pressure, about the heart rate, whether there is tachycardia, bradycardia or heart rate is normal. Then about temperature, whether patient is cold, whether there is temperature and saturation of the patient, oxygen level in the blood if patient in hospital, and the pattern of respiration, whether there is increased respiratory rate or decreased respiratory rate. So your aim is to check vital parameters. Then check other systems like cardiovascular system. You have to auscultate cardiovascular system and to check whether there is presence of any murmur, any rib. Then you have to auscultate the lung area. Then you have to check the neck. So that is the physical examination. Sampla time. So that is the physical examination of patient. First, check vital parameters and then physical examination of the patient. Now, what are the investigations in a patient of syncope? So immediately, first you have to check the blood sugar level. That is the basic, or with the most common cause of syncope. Hypoglycemia is the most common cause of syncope, particularly in students, in females because of fasting state, not taking breakfast, in diabetic patient, which is the most common cause of syncope. So your first aim, first to check vital parameters, pulse rate, blood pressure, respiratory rate, and then check blood sugar level. And then other investigations to rule out the causes. So in other investigation, important is first to rule out cardiac problem. First to rule out cardiac problem or cardiac disease, but because the cardiac syncope is more dangerous, life-threatening, so your first aim to rule out cardiac problem. So for that, ECG, 2D echo, Holter monitoring. What is Holter monitoring? It is nothing but there is a machine which is attached to the patient for 24 hours and that record your heart rate in 24 hours. whether there is any variation in the heart rate in 24 hours, whether there is any bradycardia or tachycardia, arrhythmia, anything else. So it will record your heart rate in 24 hours. That is Holter monitoring. So very important to rule out cardiac arrhythmia. So ECG, 2D echo and Holter monitoring to rule out cardiac syncope. If you are suspecting that it can be secondary to cerebrovascular cause, then you have to do CT scan, MRI of the brain or EEG to rule out epilepsy. And this is to rule out any infarct in the brain or to rule out transient ischemic attacks. So this will rule out your cerebral cause of syncope. So rule out cardiac cause of syncope, rule out cerebral cause of syncope. Then as we discussed, X-ray cervical spine, because cervical spondylosis can cause vertebrobasal insufficiency syncope. So X-ray cervical spine to rule out cervical spondylosis is also important. Then other investigation include blood sugar level, hemoglobin level, then arterial blood gas to see whether there is hypoxia, because hypoxia also can cause syncope. So this is the differential diagnosis of syncope we already discussed, which can be confused with syncope. Now treatment. Treatment include general treatment and treatment of the cause. Treatment of the cause. General treatment include whenever patient is in unconscious state, fall down in front of you. First, positioning of the patient is very important, and what to do immediately. So positioning of patient include you have to elevate the legs so that you will improve the blood supply of the brain. So there should be head low position and the legs should be elevated so that there will be increased venous return, increased cardiac output and increased blood supply to brain. So patient head low position and legs elevated. That is the positioning of the patient. Then assurance of the patient, give assurance to the patient. Allow cool and quiet environment. Don't be crowded. So allow cool and quiet environment. So crowding is avoided. Then offer water, food, advise rest, check blood sugar level, avoid triggering and aggravating factors. Then if you think it is vasovagal because of some fear, because of some intense pain, if it is neurally mediated vasovagal syncope, many times you require atropine, IV fluids, adrenaline. So even with IV fluids and atropine, patient regain consciousness if it is vasovagal syncope. So neurally mediated syncope sometimes require atropine, IV fluids and adrenaline. For orthostatic hypotension, you have to stop the drugs which cause hypotension. Increase salt and water intake. Ask the patient to take excess of water and some salt. Then don't change your position suddenly. You have to change your position slowly. Like if you are in lying down position, slowly change to sitting position, slowly change to standing position. Because sudden change in position cause orthostatic hypotension and syncope. So changing the position very slowly. Some isometric exercises which can increase your blood pressure. Then drugs like fludrocortisone, it is a mineralocorticoid which sometimes used in orthostatic hypotension. Cardiac syncope include treatment of the basic problem, means treatment of arrhythmia and correction of the structural lesion. So treatment of arrhythmia include antiarrhythmic drugs. If it is heart block, it will require pacemaker. So for tachyarrhythmia, antiarrhythmic drugs. For bradyarrhythmia, it will require pacemaker, which is an artificial impulse generator. Correction of structural lesion like correction of aortic stenosis, correction of mitral stenosis, that means it will require surgical correction. If it is cerebral syncope, if it is transient ischemic attack, or if it is just stroke, the treatment of stroke include antiplatelet drugs. Then antiplatelet drug is to improve cerebral circulation. These antiplatelet drugs are to improve the circulation to avoid the formation of platelet plug. This is to avoid formation of platelet plug and to improve circulation. Statins to decrease cholesterol level. So treatment of the basic cause. General treatment, positioning of patient, assurance to the patient, allow cool and quiet environment, offer water and food, advise to take rest, avoid triggering factor, aggravating factors. Neurally mediated sometimes require atropine and IV fluids and adrenaline. Orthostatic hypotension, the treatment is to stop the drug which can cause hypotension, increase salt water intake. Then changing the position slowly, some isometric exercises and drugs like fludrocortisone. Cardiac syncope, treatment of arrhythmia and treatment of the structural region. That is surgical correction of aortic stenosis, surgical correction of mitral stenosis. Tachyarrhythmia with antiarrhythmic drugs, bradyarrhythmia require pacemaker. Cerebral syncope, antiplatelet drugs, statins. Or sometimes, if there is block in one of the major artery, stenting of the artery. So that is the treatment of syncope. So syncope most of the time is benign, not life-threatening, but always rule out cardiac syncope first because it can be life-threatening, can cause sudden death. Patient of syncope with warning signs and symptoms should be hospitalized and evaluated. So every patient of syncope should be hospitalized and evaluated. So this will complete our cardiovascular system. Now we start GIT, gastrointestinal system, from next lecture.